What's up, YouTube? It's Classic 1333, back from the dead. Well, I'm not really dead, I'm still alive. Still alive and still kicking. What you see, I can't see it, maybe you'll get away from me. That song is from Godsmack Awake. Good band, Godsmack is. And if you don't like them, then I can't change that. So, I'm going to review last week's Raw. I know it's yesterday's news, but guess what? When you learn from the mistakes of the past, you can prepare for the future. Classic 1333. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what yesterday's wrestling lesson has to prepare you for the future, unless you're like trying not to, revoke old storylines. Something TNA wrestling doesn't do. But anyway, I'm gonna review Raw from last week. So, and if this sounds a little bit off, then I apologize. But this was last week's show, which I finished on Saturday. I've watched most of it, I think, about up to Wednesday, and then Saturday I finished the rest of it. So I'm going to jump into last week's show right now. So last week they showed a recap of the Triple H Orton from last week, which would be 2 weeks ago. Basically, that was back when, Triple H was pulling the serial killer horror movie thing on Randy Orton, chasing him with his sledgehammer, instead of a machete or a, razor sharp claw thing or something. So that was going on back then. You guys saw that, I'm pretty sure. And if you didn't, you could always find it. They'll probably show it like a million times again to promote their WrestleMania match. So they start the show off with Lawler announcing Cena versus Edge tonight, for the world title. Lawler saying it's one of the biggest announcements he's ever made. So yeah, it was a big announcement, but don't know if it was one of the biggest announcements he ever made. He's been doing Raw for years, so don't know if it was his biggest announcement, but if it was, congratulations. So let's see, he announces that, and then they have Piper's Pit with host Chris Jericho. So Jericho's ripping off Piper's idea, and his guest tonight's going to be Jimmy Snuka. But before Snuka comes out, they show footage of Piper attacking Jimmy Snuka back in 1985, maybe, I don't know, 1980 something. He attacked him with a coconut. He took a coconut, smashed it in his face. And then they showed more footage of Piper and Snuka having matches back then. So Jericho has Superfly Jimmy Snuka on the show, and he calls him and Piper both really selfish because at the Royal Rumble match, it wasn't this year's, I think it was the previous year's. Piper and Snuka both came out during the matchup itself, and so that was two spots that couldn't go to any up and coming talent, to win a chance to go to WrestleMania or anything. So Jericho calls them extremely selfish, which is pretty selfish if you think about it, because those are two legends that have no purpose really being in the match at all. So I would consider that selfish. So Jericho also says he's taking Piper's advice and is going to embrace the past. He's basically going to take up where Piper left off and stuff, and he starts messing with Snuka, trash talking him and throwing. What did I write down? He starts throwing bananas at him, and then he pulls out a coconut. So he's going to repeat the past or something. So then Snuka grabs the coconut, goes apeshit on him. What animal eats coconuts? There's an animal that eats coconuts. If I knew that animal, I could say he goes, that animal shit on him, So, but I don't know that. So he goes ape shit on him, and then Jericho runs away. And then Superfly, here, I'll even try to stand up and do it. He gets in this pose, like this, for 5 minutes or something. He's in this pose for 5 minutes, and then you're just okay, Jericho's coming to attack him. He's coming to attack him, and then so he pushes down the cardboard setup they have behind him, and then it hits Snuka in the head. It looked like crap the first time, but when they showed the recap, it was better. So he does that, and then he takes his belt off and starts whipping Snuka with it, whipping him like a government mule, as Jim Ross would say. And then my favorite part, he grabs this banana and he just shoves it into Jericho's mouth, or Snuka's mouth. He just shoves it in there. That was hilarious. So my get go with that is I'm happy that Jericho is promoting potassium intake, because your blood needs a serum level of potassium from 3.5 milliequivalents to 5 milliequivalents, And if you have hypokalemia, you can have things like cardiac dysrhythmias, bilateral weakness, and you also have smooth muscle deficits, which can cause paralytic ileus and abdominal distension and decreased bowel sounds. So you learn stuff off my show. Yes, I was reading that because I had to write that down. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. Well, I might got a breath from that excitement. I'm a very healthy person. So they show the next matchup. It's Mysterio versus Mike Knox versus Kane. Triple threat money in the qualifier matchup. Good matchup, I thought. Most of it was like either Kane working on Mysterio or Knox working on Mysterio. The finish sees Mike Knox hit the School of Hard Knocks on Mysterio. And then, he hits that on Mysterio, and then Kane grabs Knox, chokeslams him, and then pins Ray after Knox did the damage. 1, 2, 3, and Kane's your winner. And like the whole night, they're like promoting Kane's like just twisting disturbance, on ECW. And what he do on ECW? He beat the Boogeyman, who eventually got released. So he really didn't do much of anything because Boogeyman was never like a world title contender or anything. But he's the Boogeyman, and he's coming to get ya. So yeah. So maybe since he got released, he might be like coming after people on the streets. So everybody get ready. So let's see what's next. They show a recap of WrestleMania 12 HBK versus Bret Hart Iron Man matchup, which I thought was a great matchup back then. I have it on VHS. Yeah. What's his name? Jerry the King Lawler did say vintage Shawn Michaels in the matchup, but because it wasn't a big thing back then, I won't get mad at him on that. So then let's see. Our next match is Mickie James and Kelly Squared versus Beth Phoenix and Jillian Hall. Seen this matchup a couple of times already in Raw within like the past couple months, so I wasn't really too excited about it. One cool thing that happened in this matchup was like Beth Phoenix grabbed Kelly and she powerbombed her like into the turnbuckle. So she was like, just kind of chucks her into it, bam. It was pretty cool. Let's see, Mickie James and Kelly win the matchup. Kelly did a top rope sunset flip on Jillian. After this matchup, during the matchup, what's her name? Maurice from SmackDown, the sexy female. Well, obviously she's a sexy female. Sexy female Canadian chick. She was like doing commentary. She's SmackDown's Divas champion. And she like was, like talking to Melina. Melina was doing commentary too. They were like talking to each other, whatever. Not so much trash talking, I don't think, just kind of talking with each other. And then after the match was over, I think, what was it? Yeah, Rosa was attacking Kelly and Mickie James or something. Melina was going to make the save, and then Maurice attacked her, gave her a DDT on the floor. So that was pretty cool. So I'm guessing they're going to have a match at WrestleMania or something. So they show a recap of Triple H and Orton again. Pretty self-explanatory. But there goes my microphone. Put it back up here. Okay, so after they promote that, the next thing is like Orton's decision, which is like this big long promo. Orton comes out with his lawyers and armed security. It's a good thing his lawyers didn't come out with umbrellas because, lawyers like to hide behind umbrellas when you're trying to punch and kick them. If you ever played Maximum Carnage for the Super Nintendo, you'll notice that. They like hide behind these umbrellas and stuff. So, Orton has this decision. He's going to choose a winner. It's his decision, like, who does he want to face, and he says he's going to choose the winner of Edge versus Cena tonight. He also says Triple H is going to jail because of assault and battery and stuff like that. And then this promotes Triple H to come out with a sledgehammer. He drops it when he comes to the ring because I guess it was the whole carrying a weapon thing and stuff. Let's see, what else did I write down? See, I don't really remember this too well, so I'm doing an awesome review. Let's see. Basically, Triple H talks about how the feud should end. He talks about turning on Orton in Evolution. And if you never saw that back then, Orton won the World Heavyweight Championship from Chris Benoit. Yeah, I said Benoit, the murderer. But he won the title from Benoit, and then the night after they had a rematch, and Orton beat Benoit again. And then he was celebrating with Evolution, and then they attacked Orton after the matchup. That's how that all thing happened. It was back in 2004, I think. So,